If you struggle to keep your body weight down, would you like a weight loss tactic that doesn't require exercise or changing what you're already eating? I discovered for myself how well it works. The last couple of months, I've dropped over 25 pounds and it was surprisingly easy, and I'm keeping it off without any difficulty. It's simple, natural, based on what you're already doing, and can be very effective. It's also free to test for yourself. I'll explain exactly how I did that. First, here's the overview, and then I'll give you the specifics. Lowering your percentage of body fat can be healthy. You'll not only look better, but you'll feel better and be more energetic. However, losing weight temporarily can be worse than not losing it at all. Avoid yo-yo dieting. Going on a diet means eventually going off the diet. Fad diets can work temporarily, but they usually do more harm than good. It's much better to make small changes that last than to make dramatic changes that fail. So, don't make dietary changes that you're not willing to stick with for life. Always consult with your licensed healthcare professional before changing your dietary program. If you want to win a fist fight, would you use both hands? Of course. Similarly, if you want to win the fight against fat, use both approaches. The frequently used first approach is to focus only on what you're consuming. Everyone understands that it's best to find the nutrients that work best for you. In other words, the proper kinds of foods that have the best percentages of fats, proteins, carbohydrates, and micronutrients. The infrequently used second approach is to focus on when you consume nutrients. It's counterproductive to ignore nutrient timing. Since you're not constantly eating every night, you already practice intermittent fasting. If you sleep for 8 hours, your feeding window is 16 hours because you're already fasting for 1/3 of the day. So this tactic isn't something new. It's just a revision of something you're already doing. The daily nutrient timing tactic I recommend is simple. Reduce that window further. That's it. That's all I did to drop over 25 pounds in about 2 months. I was surprised and delighted. I wasn't even intending to do that, so it didn't occur to me to take any before photos. Your results may or may not be as dramatic. I've really been amazed by how much difference it made and how simple and easy it was. I didn't change my exercise program and made almost no changes to my dietary program. I did, though, cut out pretzels, and I stopped adding cream or powdered MCT oil to the 2 cups of coffee that I drink every day. At 78, I may be older than you, too. Since our metabolic rates naturally decrease with age, it might work even better for you than it has worked for me. Why not try it for a week or two to determine if it begins to work well for you too? If so, stay with it. You now have the big idea. To lose more weight, close the window more. To regain weight, open the window more. Tweak it depending upon your psychology and how quickly you want results. There's no counting of grams of carbs or proteins or calories. Assuming that what you eat and the quantity of your food is already nutritious, there may be no need to change that either. Also, just keep getting whatever exercise you get. In my case, I'd not been paying much attention, and I was distressed to notice that I weighed 222 pounds. I wanted to drop about a dozen pounds quickly. The set point for my body weight had been about 210 pounds for decades after retiring from hockey. A feeding window of 16 or 14 hours was obviously too open to me. I was simply too fat. I started out by closing my feeding window down to 12 hours. That's easy to do. Just eat your 3 meals, if that's your habit, in 12 hours. For example, you could eat breakfast at 7 a.m., lunch at noon, and finish dinner by 7 p.m. That may be similar to what you're already doing. Let's suppose that you're too fat and have a 12-hour eating window. If you don't change any other variable with respect to your energy input and output and test my suggestion, you'll know that intermittent fasting is working for you if you lose body weight. If you're not getting lighter, simply close the window more. Since that was my situation, I closed it down to 10 hours. I liked the results, and I closed it down further to 9 hours, then 8 hours, and finally 7 hours. I now eat my first meal at noon. I eat again about 3 p.m., and I finish dinner by 7 p.m. That's not very difficult. The result? My body weight has dropped from 222 to 196 and has hardly fluctuated in the last several months. Will it work that well for you? Maybe, maybe not. It may work even better for you. There's no way to tell in advance. If you've only been using the first approach that focuses on what you eat and you're too fat, why not test intermittent fasting for yourself? According to Stephen Gundry, MD, whose writings on nutrition are the best I've ever found, there's no harm cutting your feeding window down to 4 hours or even lower. He's kept his at 2 hours for many years. Of course, ensure that you consume the quality and quantity of nutrients appropriate for you. That's another topic. I recommend Gundry's Paradox books if you'd like to learn more about that. Will you feel hungry at times? Probably. So, take that as a sign of progress and simply drop that desire. Get your attention out of your thoughts and more into your life. After only a week or two, it seemed that my body adjusted and hunger has not been a big issue for me. There are other ways to practice intermittent fasting. For example, twice a year, once in the spring and again in the fall, I used to fast for 2 or 3 days. In practice, 60 hours worked well. However, that wasn't to lose weight, it was to stimulate stem cell production. You could try not eating on, say, Mondays, or add a second day of the week for fasting later. So there are different ways to do it and different reasons for doing it. A daily 7-hour feeding window worked well for me to reduce body fat. If you test this approach for yourself, I and others would appreciate learning your results in the comments below. If you find that some other approach to nutrient timing works well for you, I hope you'll let us know. If you know someone who might benefit from this video, please share it. If you enjoyed it, consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. I wish you well.